you guys, do you struggle with cravings? I posted a couple of days ago asking, what is your number one comfort food? What is the one thing that you just love to eat? And a lot of times our comfort foods are tied to our cravings. And so you would believe that a lot of people have the same cravings, right? But something that a lot of people don't realize is their cravings could be tied to their health. It could be a good indication of something going on with their health. And so I want to help you have the healthiest life that you can. And so sometimes this means we need to pay attention to our cravings. My name is Angela. I help busy moms and dads ditch the sugar and start getting results with simple, healthy swaps. And so hang on, because I'm going to be talking about 7 really common cravings and maybe what these cravings can say about your health. So the first one I'm going to talk about is sugar. How many of you guys struggle with sugar cravings? You are, you're on the struggle bus with sugar cravings. If I'm completely honest, sugar is probably one of my top cravings. And so what is the underlying cause of these sugar cravings? And so we're going to talk about that. Now, something that I learned, especially along this whole health journey that I've been on personally, is that there's a lot of times where the more you eat sugar, the more you crave sugar. Have y'all ever felt that way where, you're eating healthy, you're doing fine, and then all of a sudden, there's a party, there's something like that, and you eat a little cake or you have some ice cream, and then that's all you crave for the next week. And you just can't stop craving sugar, especially once you give in once. So what's going on there? And a lot of times our cravings are tied to, our body is sending signals, but sugar is so unique because it's tied to our digestion and everything, especially with our response to insulin. And so picture this and see if you can relate to this. You go to a party or you have a splurge, you eat a donut for breakfast or something like that, and your blood sugar rises because you eat that sugar. Well, the way that your body processes all that is it has to release insulin. That's how it's going to process all the sugar and help your body handle it, because your body does not want your blood sugar high for long, because that is very, very, very unhealthy long term. So your body sends out all this insulin, your blood sugar lowers, but after that energy, is used up quickly, you have a crash, an energy crash. How many of you guys have ever felt that, sugar high and then that crash that comes later? Well, then you're falling asleep at your desk and you're like, oh gosh, I need something else because I am falling asleep. And so a lot of times our body says, send more sugar, because they knew that we got, or your body knows that you got that sugar high. And so it's like, eat more sugar. And so then that is one reason why we have the sugar cravings, because it's this cycle, and it's hard to stop that sugar cycle, especially if you're trying to do it alone, because believe me, we as a culture are addicted to sugar. Sugar is found in almost everything. And so the way that you break that cycle is you have to get off of the sugar bus. You have to get off of the train, and you have to start fueling your body the right way. Okay, so the next thing, what's the next most common craving? Chocolate. Now, if you crave sugar, you may also crave chocolate too, but chocolate is unique because a lot of times if you are somebody who craves chocolate, it's because you are deficient in magnesium. And this is something I actually learned when I was pregnant with my first baby, because I didn't really know I was low in magnesium, but then whenever you're pregnant, you have a lot more things going on in your body, needs a lot more minerals. And so I was having muscle cramps and things like that and trouble sleeping, and all of this is signs that I was low in magnesium. And then I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I crave chocolate all the time, and I didn't realize that they were connected. So if you are somebody who struggles with chocolate cravings, it may mean that you are low in magnesium. And so there's some different ways to up your magnesium intake. Some of the best ways are topically, like Epsom salt baths. I do take a supplement too to help me with my magnesium, but the way that you can help maybe lessen your chocolate cravings is to supplement with magnesium. And then another thing that I do is just make healthy swaps, so that I found a way that I can eat chocolate without the sugar, and that is honestly what makes chocolate not so great for you, is the sugar. And so if you can enjoy it without the sugar, then you're at least going the right direction. So the third thing is bread and pasta. And I was gonna say most people, if they commented bread or pasta, it was mac and cheese. So how many of you guys love mac and cheese? And this is actually gonna cover two different of our cravings, but let's talk about bread and pasta. So it's interesting about bread and pasta that why is this something that is a comfort food, that is something that we crave? You know, what is it about that? And a lot of times, if we're having cravings for pasta and bread, there is a emotional trigger tied to it because it is usually comfort food. A big bowl of spaghetti, you know, reminds you of your grandmother or something like that, or just enjoying a nice dinner out. You know, and a lot of times it may center around, you know, enjoying bread and pasta and things like that. And so think about if that's something that you crave a lot, breads and pastas, you know, are you emotionally eating? Is there something going on in your life that is causing you to be stressed? You know, then you can take some measures to kind of de-stress, relax, you know, do yoga, go walking, do something like that to kind of get the emotional side of eating, you know, calm down and see if that can help with your cravings, especially with the breads and pastas. Now, if the breads and pastas, because they also, remember that sugar cycle that we talked about, those also kind of have the same effect as sugar. They are high carb foods, and so you are going to have a similar response, like a sugar high and a crash and everything, a carbo load, you know. And so think about, you know, am I on the sugar bus or am I, you know, emotionally tied to this comfort food where there's something else emotionally? I'm stressed, or I'm not sleeping enough, I'm not taking care of myself, and so I'm resulting, you know, going back to these comfort foods. Think about that. So those are two different things to think about if it's breads and pastas and things like that you are craving. Now the next thing is cheese. So that's going to go kind of with the mac and cheese, people who love mac and cheese. But cheese is very high in fat. And so think about if I am always craving cheese, you know, maybe I'm not eating enough healthy fats. And so that's a really simple way, you know, to get in some extra healthy fats to help with the omega-3s that your body needs, and that's essential, you know. And so think about, you know, I am craving heavy cheeses, and so maybe I need to find, you know, healthy alternatives to getting those healthy fats like avocados, coconut oils, things like that. So the next thing is red meat. How many of you guys crave red meat? I know my sister-in-law, when she was pregnant with her last baby, she said she craved red meat all the time. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's definitely a boy. And it was, but that's just an old wives' tale. But if you are craving red meat, that can mean that you're low in iron. And that is something that, you know, as a woman, you know, we have to pay attention to, you know, our iron levels and everything. And so a lot of times people supplement, you know, where they have iron in their multivitamin. Red meat is a source of iron. And so if you're craving red meat, that may mean that you are low in iron. Some signs could be that you're feeling fatigued and you're just feeling like blah, you're not having a lot of energy. So if you feel like I'm craving red meat all the time, you may want to get your iron levels checked or just start supplementing with a multivitamin that has iron, or find some other, you know, there's lots of other foods that have iron in them, but red meat is not bad for you. It just may be a sign that there's something else going on. So the next thing is salty foods. We had a lot of people that say, oh, I just love salty foods. I don't have trouble with the sweets, I have trouble with the salt. So if that's you, then you may be dehydrated. Isn't that crazy that your body is saying, hey, drink more water. It's actually saying eat more salt, but you may need to drink more water first. Another thing is, especially if you're somebody who is dehydrated, you may be actually missing electrolytes, and salt has electrolytes. Salt has the different minerals and stuff in there. And so, you know, that's something that you may be missing, is you're low in electrolytes. And so you need to, you know, drink more electrolytes, use a healthier salt like a pink Himalayan sea salt that has some of those extra minerals in it. But maybe avoid some of the unhealthy ways that we usually crave, like the fries and the potato chips and things like that when we're craving salt. And you can actually, you know, have healthier ways to get the salt into you so that you're giving your body what it needs without the bad stuff. So the last thing is fried foods, you know, and I just mentioned French fries, but, you know, fried chicken, you know, all the fried foods, you know, and fried foods have those trans fat, which is the worst fat that our body, you know, can have. And so we do not want to eat fried foods, there's trans fat, or at least those that are, you know, fried in restaurants, you know, not using coconut oil or anything like that. So, you know, what is your body saying? If you are craving those fried foods. And so one of the ways that our body, gets those fats is with fried foods. And so if it's had that before, it's going to say, hey, eat some more of that fried food. Whenever you could find those healthy fats and curb that craving a lot easier and giving your body what it needs. And so, like I said, grass-fed butter, avocado, coconut oil, nuts, those are all different ways that you can give your body healthy fats, and so that you can maybe curb that craving of unhealthy fat sources. Like we talked about the cheese, and we talked about fried food. So listen, if you are getting value, tell me below, what's one thing that you've learned? If you want to dig down deeper and finally crush your cravings for good, I have put together a 5-day cravings crusher jumpstart so you can get my best tips that are going to help you finally break free from your cravings, get off the struggle bus, and finally feel good without the cravings. And so if you want that, just drop the word below cravings and it will start you a 5-day journey to help you overcome your cravings for good and start living your best life. So comment below with the word cravings and I will send it to you in your messenger. I can't wait to hear from you.